for the first round in hand. This track is on the calendar as well after two cracking fantastic races coming up.
I'm good, thank you, Sam. Thanks for having me back. It's great to be back. VRL Season 5 is well and truly underway. We kicked off this to be no different.
Yeah, and obviously the first time we are here with Vrl F1. Exciting new track, a bit of an unknown really. Less practice and less knowledge of the track as well. And I'm very much looking forward towards the race. But obviously first qualifying, which could be very important for the race.
Of course, and we have no pointer to where the drivers are. We've seen the practice times, but we know from last season that some drivers, sandbag in practice. They hold off on some of their times. They can delete times. That's something I know Felix did a few times as well. Come the end of last season. So yeah, although we've all seen the practice times on the Vision Racing League Instagram page, they could not be representative, and we could find a little dark horse come to the front today, Sam.
Yes, that is obviously true, and with those practice times, you have to remember it's time trial, so I mean it's always different. The car is at its maximum grip rise and fuel wise, so the car always handles a little bit worse when you're in a session like this. So let's just bring up the Spectrum menu before I forget again. Track map on, obviously, and lap data enabled. So yeah, looking forward to the qualifying session. I've been waiting a long time for it. We had to wait a long time for it as well. So we have.
Of course, it's been what, 2 months?
Yeah, it has been, and it looks like the first car out on track is going to be one of the Williams cars. It's probably going to be Thomas, I think. Yes, he is. And could there be some rain coming to this Hanoi?
Yeah, it looks quite overcast. However, I don't think it quite looks overcast enough to trouble the drivers as of right now. But we know in F3 qualifying yesterday, it did get wet, and yeah, around a street track like that, well, like this, I'm sure it causes quite a few issues for the drivers.
Yeah, that could obviously be a scenario we will find ourselves in. But we'll just have to wait and see. Obviously, with a few qualifying last season as well, where it started to rain in the end, so drivers couldn't have another lap time. In that sense, it could be crucial to be the first one out on track instead of lap time.
Of course, especially if it does rain. It's also important not to get held up here. And who is going to strike the first blow in VRL Season 5? Lots of new faces. Let's also mention Sam. All you can notice it, but we've got a lot of IGK drivers on the grid. Some of you may know IGK, a popular new esports team. Got a lot of fast drivers, a lot of drivers joining the VRL F1 grid for this season. IGK Domi, IGK Gil. There's so many. IGK Zach in, I believe, the Ferrari there, who's still in the pits. There's a few more as well. IGK J. Lewis, IGK Raikkonen isn't with us today. And a new addition to the IGK team, half of last season Constructors Champions, IGK Wenting, that's Tim Wenting, moving to Alfa Romeo this season alongside Felix, who isn't racing today. But Tim needs a good season this season. He's got the pace. Can he take it to the next level, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, it would be harsh to say Tim had a bad season last season, but I mean, when you have the pace like that and don't come away with victory, I mean, you're definitely doing something wrong. Sometimes it was in his own hands. Sometimes it was out of his hands. Obviously, he came very close in a Baku race, but he just got overtaken in the final few laps by Steve, who went on to win that race. And obviously, we have the Abu Dhabi race as well, where he also had an opportunity to win that one. But yeah, you threw it away with a crash with Isley, who we are focusing on right now. So yeah, he'll have to step up his game a bit if he wants to win a race this season.
Of course, we can see the drivers starting their laps now. One thing to note is, I'm sure the drivers will all know about this, but it's actually really easy to just knock your front wing coming around the final corner here. The drivers will know it's carrying speed through that final corner to set up the lap correctly. If you knock your front wing, you've lost a run, and that could be qualifying. You'll be under a lot of pressure now, and some drivers cope with pressure better than others. And I'm watching Gil actually got held up a little bit by the dirty air by one of the drivers. FIFA goes on pole 33.8. Quite a strong lap from him. I expect the times to fall as the session goes on. Here comes Gil through the final corner. Is it going to be provisional pole? It is a 1:33.2. Strong lap from himself. Further back, Phil Smith, ex-admin of the lead, goes into third. Nick Pancras as well, up into fourth. Not a bad lap from Nick, and Jamil in fifth. I'm sure there's a lot more time to improve from him as Wentink goes fifth.
Yes, so the first few laps of this season, yeah, I mean, RGK really on the pace here again. Obviously, we have familiar face in Tim also. Correcta, yeah, sorry. Compassion, wow.
Compassion.
That's a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, he was our step up from F2, or one of the step ups from F2 last season. Just gone and banged it on provisional. A 1:33.0, time still about 8/10 of a second off what we saw in practice, so expect the times to fall much more. However, that's a very strong lap from Compassion. It's him and Racing Point in a strong position. Remember, Compassion last season raced for Racing Point last season in F2. Yeah. He's stuck with the Pink Panthers for Season 5 of F1 as he stepped up alongside teammate Ice-T, who's currently down in 5th, 1.2 seconds off his teammates. So we know Compassion's put a lot of time into the game over the summer break onto this new game. I think the new game suits his driving style a bit more, as we have heard the same for the likes of Marine. So I'm interested to see how he goes on his outlap now. Return to the Vrl team where he found such glory in that VRL. Talking about glory in Red Bull, Phil Smith. Sure you'll hear a lot about this throughout the season, but Phil, VRL Season 2 champion with that Red Bull team, can he replicate that this season? If it continues with him in P7, I don't think he will, but I'm sure Phil's got a lot more in the bag as he gets wheeled back into the Red Bull garage. But yeah, as you said, Sam, IGK looking strong, 3 and 4, or 3, 4, 5 with Zach going 5th. FIFA up in 6th, which is quite impressive considering he was... I was speaking to him last night, and he wasn't the most confident ahead of it. I think 6 is it's quite good, and he is actually the highest returning driver from F1 Season 4, up in 6th.
Yeah.
All the ones ahead of him are new to the league.
Yeah, that is actually quite an interesting fact. Yeah, I mean, I'm also a bit surprised by... I wonder what happened to Marine, as he was on an outlap, but eventually did not complete his lap, so...
Might have back. Here he goes again. Let's go around for a lap of Hanoi. Heavy braking zone into turn number 1. It's really important to get this one hooked up. Don't clip too much of the curb. Unsettles the rear. Lots of curb on the inside here for this long right-hander. You're just waiting for the apex. Marine hooks it up really well. Then that leads on to the left and the right onto the straight. DRS activated now as we go into the first chicane. You can use a lot of curve here. It's all about picking the correct braking point, opening up the track as much as possible. As you can see, Marine taking advantage of all curves into the round section now. Floor the throttle, let the car roll out ride. Marine brings it back to the side. He's down onto this long 2 kilometer long straight now. He'll open DRS about halfway through it. FIFA gets out of his way. No issues there. DRS open now. Tied to line might save him 1,000th of a second, but that's still 1,000th of a second difference. Braking hard now. This happening. Gear 1, traction very important. It's all looking quite neat and tidy there for Marine as we go into the final sector now, the S's. This is a really crucial part of the track. Ooh, Marine goes a little bit wide there, costing him a bit of time. There's more time to find on this lap.
Wow, it pulls into the pits. Oh, disconnection for Vrl F1 Baboon. You already have one in F2 today, and it looks like he's gonna have one here today as well, sadly. We'll just have to wait for him to return. He has an extra invite, he already has the party invite, so we'll just have to wait for him to return. Meanwhile, we're on board with Thomas. As Alex said earlier, the highest runner of the old guns in VRL thus far. Obviously 9 minutes remaining. Anything can happen. Ball with Thomas here coming into that section that very much reminds me of the old Valencia track, which F1 drove on between 2009 and 2012. Audible Gamer has left the session. Ooh, teammate of Thomas has left the session. What's going on there? He's in the pit right now, so he should be able to rejoin and still get a lap in. Meanwhile, we're on board with Jamil as well. He's probably wanting to do better than last season as well. Phil, meanwhile, starting his lap. And we have Compassion, also on another lap. I think he's a 10th slower than he was last lap. Can he still make up some time? Oh, now he's 2/10 quicker as well, so already on pole and improving nonetheless. Very weird section this one. You have to be careful you don't knock off your front wing here. And here he comes around the final corner. Is it going to be an improvement for us lap time? Yes, it is. 2/10 quicker than last lap. And he put himself comfortably ahead of everyone else. But still 6 minutes remaining. What can the rest do? I do apologise for the stream quality, not much I can do about it for now. It's something we'll just have to deal with.
Hello Sam, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
Yes,
You're back.
The stream's not that bad, I've just checked. So I'm rejoining, hello.
Hi.
I'm connected to my phone mobile data is currently powering me. To this lobby, so don't say I'm not committed.
No, so you're probably not gonna have anything left at the end of the month then.
It's alright, I have unlimited data, so it's alright.
Oh.
But nevertheless, we're back. I'd like to apologise. Marine didn't go wide. I just watched that back. Sam, little rundown. How are we doing?
Compassion just improved on his time. Pleasurable moved up to P6 as well. You've rejoined, so that's all well and good. Nothing much else happened, so you haven't missed much.
Well, fingers crossed I don't disconnect again.
So
that's the plan anyway.
Did you do an internet swap with me or something?
No, I think I've done an internet swap with Phil, because that's twice in 2 days. Which isn't quite good.
Phil's probably crying himself. Crying.
Yeah, Phil's crying in the chat. I've got a glitch where I can see the cars in the garage, which I'm actually a fan of, so not complaining over here.
Oh, that's actually quite nice. They do have a new they do have new shots for when a car enters the garage. I'm not sure if you've noticed yet, but
I haven't noticed no, sir.
No, if you go on board with one of the drivers, you can see a new sort of cutscene. Anyway, would you like to take us on another lap? It's the last one, Phil.
Who are we with?
Correctia. The halves.
Correct, here we go. So, obviously, as I mentioned, we got about this far last time I lagged out. Koretka really using the curbs there, activating DRS. That is the kind of aggression that you want to see, something we didn't see from Moran, and it's probably why he's lacking down in P6. So this tricky section, lots of curb, open up the track, lock up there Koretka. What he's done there is he's tightened up the second part of that chicane and lost him time throughout this roundabout section. Back on the power now, using all the track. That seemed a relatively good throttle application from the Haas driver. However, he lost quite a bit of time in that tricky little right-left chicane. DRS now for the Haas driver sporting the number 20 car in the name of Kevin Magnussen as we go down into the heaviest braking point on the circuit, down into, well, he takes gear 2 for the better traction, short shifting up to third. Remember, no traction control allowed here in VRL F1. This is where we got up to last time, hooking up that inside curve quite nicely back on the power, and this is all about carrying as much speed. You've got to trust the car as we go through these S's with just 3 minutes left in this session. He throws it right over the left. Drivers like to use a bit of curb here. Correct, not using all of it. More curb on the inside there just to get the car hooked up. He's out of ERS completely into the penultimate corner now. Got that hooked up quite nicely. It's all about commitment through this final corner. How close does he run into the wall? That's a lap, and he improves by 9 thousandths of a second. So not enough to lift him up past compassion, but a 33.1 isn't a bad time at all.
No, it's not actually, and IGK Gill, meanwhile you were doing that lap, has moved himself up to P1, demoting Compassion back into that still respectable P2 spot there. I mean, what a story that could be. Obviously joined F1 midway through the season and got sacked as well midway through. Then joined F2, built up his confidence once again, won a race, and now he's here in F1 once again, unlike the champion of last season. And that could be that could be an interesting story for if he would win this race. But first things first, qualifying is very important.
Of course, just 2 minutes left in the session now. Everyone out will be on their final runs. I don't know if Koretka has fuel for another run. If he doesn't, third is the best he's going to be doing today. IGK Gill though in the pits, he's not going to come out for another lap. So a 32.5. Very strong lap from Gill there. He was quickest in the practice time. Oh, he's coming out now actually. Might be a little bit borderline. He might have to be a little bit naughty on some of the corners and cut them. But we'll turn a blind eye to that, as long as he doesn't impede anyone. But yeah, about 3 tenths off his practice time, which, as we spoke about at the start, Sam, we kind of expect that. Because the drivers in time trial can run, a purely 1 lap setup, whereas in a race the drivers have to think about the race as well, because the cars are locked in park firmly. So a 3/10 difference is still a very strong lap from Gill, as IGK can do. Disappointing for him. In terms of the other IGK driver, Tim, down in 13th now.
Ouch, 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 ouch. And some interesting news was on the comments there. Benjamin feeling ill, and so he's withdrawn from the race. He won't be racing here today in Hanoi. Very sad for him, but we wish him all the best to get better again.
Just seeing the 2 IGK Ferraris doing a tow.
Yeah, obviously they will want each other's help. What can Compassion do? Can he move him up to pole position? No, he cannot. P2's got to be the best for him. Sadly,
I don't think he improved.
No, he did improve
slightly.
Yeah, he improved slightly, and it's P2 maximum for him.
Well, here's IGK Zach. Lots of commitment through the S's here. He was about a 10th up on his best time through the middle sector. He's going to need a pretty spectacular final couple of corners to trouble the top 3. It looked quick through the S's. Back on the power now. Not as much commitment.
P3!
3rd position.
Wow, what an improvement in the last few corners there.
Let's remember the Ferraris have had no glory in VRL. Looking at this first quali session, I don't want to jinx anything, but it's looking good for Ferrari so far. I'm sure the Ferrari team principal will be licking his lips at the prospect of that. What do we have further back though? VRT Luke goes up into only 7th position. Marine is on a lap. Plusenball is on a lap. Up in 9th, he gets a bit of oversteer, just keeps it out of the wall. Phil Smith has gone straight on at the hairpin, and
it's got to be P10 for him only.
Over. Of course, not a great return to VRL for Phil. We've got a lot of drivers about to cross the line. Who is going to claim pole position? Can Gill stay on pole? Can anyone
Look at
take
Marine.
it from him?
He's 4 tenths up.
Marine 4 tenths up, currently 8.5 tenths off pole. I don't know if it's going to be enough, but it could elevate him up to 5th maybe, Sam.
Yeah, that could be a good starting position for him. What can he do? It's gonna be P5, like you said. Decent result for him.
I'm sure he's quite happy with that, 5 places ahead of his teammate. Can't imagine Phil would be too satisfied with that final run. But unless Tim can lift himself up, which he can't, he's ran out of fuel, Tim. So, 15th for Tim Wenty.
He said
over the summer break, I've taken the mick. I've had a pop at Tim for, not having a win in VRL, but this isn't good for Tim, Sam. 15th here in Hanoi. That's poor.
Yeah, it is, and bit of a problem for him if he wants to go and win this race. It's got to be hard for him to win this one, and he has to definitely improve if he wants to win a race this season.
Yeah, 15th. That's shocking from Tim. To think that he was, contending for poles and, at the very least top 5s last season, to go from 15th. I think not only that shows that, the step up in class of the VRL field, but he's going to be very disappointed with that. And with Felix not racing, Tim's even been out qualified by the Alfa Romeo reserve, and Nick Pancras, who's done a good job up in 11th. But yeah, wow, I'm quite surprised actually, and I'm sure Tim will be very vocal about his feelings.
I'm also surprised that Luke and Phil are also all the way down in P10 and P8. I mean, it's not the result they would have wanted. Outside the top 5, I mean, we know they're better than that. Maybe this new track has very much caught them out, but it's the new guys performing the best thus far. I mean, also a quick shout out to Nick Pancras, who qualified P11, also coming from that F2 championship as well. Let's run you through the grid. IGK Gill on pole position, followed by Compassion, followed by Dommy, followed by Zach, followed by Marine, followed by Croquetia, sorry, Darfifa, VRT Correcta, sorry. And then we have Bijabal in P9 and Phil in P10, Nick Pancras in P11, Mickey in P12, Ice-T in P13, Lewis in P14, Tim P15, disappointing for him, and we have Jesper in P5, what's that, 16? 16, yeah, sorry I couldn't finish it. I think it goes a bit quicker this season, or this game.
Yeah, I think everyone's stepped up, but I'm surprised that qualifying wasn't as close as I maybe expected it to be, if I'm honest. I really expected it to be really close, but IGK Gill, not taking anything away from him, 2 tenths on pole. But Compassion as well. In terms of qualifying, I think he's our driver of the day, because he's done a very good job. Yeah, driver qualifying to slot that into P2 with, if I'm honest, not necessarily low expectations, but we weren't expecting Racing Point to be this high up.
No, me neither, to be honest. Or maybe I was expecting a top 10 finish, qualifying finish for him, but P2 is definitely very, very high up, and he's really stepped up his game, so congrats to him, but he still has a race to do, so we just have to wait and see. Of course, and
as we start the formation lap, I'm sure we'll see the predicted strategy, new feature of this show's game. I can tell you from experience that I think the drivers will be leaning towards a 2-stop, starting on the softs, going to the mediums, and ending on the softs, Sam. That seems to be the faster strategy. The softs are a very good tyre around this circuit, and just having the softs at the end just gives you a lot of pace over those who go to the mediums that do fade towards the end of their stints. But nevertheless, I'm sure we'll see some differentiation between the drivers. We always see that. And Sam, if we just get up the tyre data now, the top 12 all opt for the soft tyre. Ice-T and IGK Lewis going for the medium. Tim opting for the soft, and then Jesper, Jamil and Benjamin, who has left the session due to being unwell. But Jamil and Jesper going for the medium tyre, so a little bit of differentiation, but with the top 12 on the soft tyre, it should be a really tight race start then.
Yeah, it should. A very weird turn one, obviously here in Hanoi. The run down to turn one for P1 is not it's not that long, I think. So
It's not, but it does open up an opportunity for a dive bomb with how tight the corner is. So, with Gil starting on what I believe is the outside, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe P1 is on the outside of the grid. If Compassion get in with a shot down the inside, he's gonna be most likely to have the position just because of the nature of the track. But of course we'll have to see. But Compassion quite slow on his formation lap here, letting Gil get on with it. And one thing that we did notice yesterday is that the tyres wear out much more on formation laps this game. At the end of a formation lap, I had something like 6% wear on my tyres. So
yeah, talking about tyres.
And my tyres had 10%.
Talking about tyres, a few drivers on mediums. Ice-T, Lewis, Jasper, Jamil, and Alpha Gamer's not racing, but he's also. Those drivers are on the medium tyres, so. Let me get that away again. So
Here we go then, Sam.
Yeah, first race of the season.
It's been a long 2 months.
It has very much has been.
This is going to be crucial who can get a good start. And most importantly, who can keep it clean. Because in order to win a race, you've got to finish it. But Sam, take it away.
Yeah. 26th of July, round 1 for Hanoi. We wait on the 5 red lights as they release. Right now, and away we go for season 5. And it looks like Gil has got a pretty okay start there. Compassion is wanting to go and try put him under pressure there. That's contact, a bit of ghosting also, and Gil is off there, and Ice-T has made himself up into the lead for some reason. That's what it says. I think the game is a bit glitched.
Yeah, there's a glitch with the timing screen, Sam. Just to help you out. Compassion in the lead, followed by Gil and IGK Zach fending off Koretka, who got very ambitious into turn number 1, made a bit of contact. I'm sure we'll have a little Stewart's inquiry about that come later, but it's carnage as we go. All drivers so close, but it seems as if everyone's keeping it relatively clean. A little bit further back, we've got Mikita and JR Lewis going side by side, and Ice-T, who's not in the lead. I believe the leaderboards now have sorted themselves out for me, Sam. I'm not sure if they have for you. That's good news. But a little bit further forward, Phil Smith has made up a place. He's going side by side with Darth Viva, who's lost 3 places. He's had a terrible start. Thomas Darth Viva down there in P10 for the Williams team. Williams, the only team to retain their driver lineup from season 4, says that's Marine, not Marine, the other Red Bull. Phil, who very nearly went into the back, and there's contact. Darth Viva's been spun. There's been contact with, I believe that was IGK Wentink. Maybe Nick Pancras is one of the Alfa Romeos, and it's carnage. Darth Viva has some damage, Sam.
Yeah, on this, I believe that's a left wing in plane completely gone. I'm not sure if he probably were wanting to get that replaced. There was a bit of action going on at the front as well. I believe RGK Gil did go for a move on Compassion there, but Compassion still leading the race after that crazy start where Korakcha wanted to go for a move there. And is Compassion into the pits, or has the timing screens just glitched again?
Yeah, no, Compassion still in the lead. It's Koretka, who I think has lagged out the session or is causing us some internet problems. Because Koretka struggles with the Wi-Fi, has now lagged out the session, I believe. He's currently, he was running in 3rd, he's now running in 4th. However, if he is out the session, or he seems to be in the session, I do apologise for the viewers, this is hard to work with ourselves.
Very confusing.
Yeah, it looks like Koretka is still in the session, lagging around a little bit, which is a problem for our timing screens. But yeah, IGK Domi on the back of him now, and he'll be looking to make a move as DRS has been or will be enabled next lap, I believe.
Yeah, and I think it's the problem as well. I see blue flags all over the track as well, even though we're only in lap 1. So I'm not really sure what's causing it. We'll just have to deal with it for now. My Compassion's still in the lead though. He's still leading away from IGK Gil, and he's really surprising me. Thus far, I did not expect him to be in this position, but he's proving us all wrong, and he's still keeping that lead, 5/10 from IGK Gil.
Racing Point second last year's constructor standings. They're going to want to take it to the next level. They're going to want to win it this year. They went for a bold driver lineup. We didn't expect them to be challenging the top flight, but here's Compassion leading the race, proving us all wrong.
Lewis has left the session.
Yeah, Lewis out the session. I'm not sure.
He's probably had an internet issue as well. I mean, the game's looking a bit dodgy, to be honest, with all these glitches going on. But we'll just have to deal with them for now.
Anyway, IGK Gill was on pole position, dropped back at the start. Through no fault of his own, I believe it was due to contact. He's now within half a second. And with use of that overtake button, Sam, I think he will be in the lead of the race come the end of this DRS straight.
Can he go and go for a move already? Yeah, DRS open here. Compassion looking defenseless, or can he get something back into the next braking zone? I don't think he can. It's quite a long straight. Is he going to hang it around the outside there? No, he just wants to leave his front wing intact and move on with the race. He's been demoted at the position.
Mayo's doing a good job. Tim from 15th up to 10th. Nick Pancras holding station. He's keeping Ice-T behind him. He's down in 12th. He goes a little bit wide as Lewis out the session again. I believe that is that's Jesper in the Mercedes who is standing in for Sem today. He's got some front wing damage, so he must have had some contact with the wall. But Gill sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:37.7 as he crosses the line. He did have DRS and overtake assistance. Now it's going to be interesting to see if Compassion can stay with the Frenchman in the lead of the race, or if he's going to get swallowed up into the hands of Zach and making it a Ferrari 1-2, which will be for the first time ever in VRL.
Yeah, I think so.
It will.
You've done your research. Yeah, go on.
I have.
It looks like Compassion is struggling a bit towards IGK Gill. I don't think he's going to be able to get that P1 back anytime soon unless he can do something with his overtake button right now.
Yeah, it looks like the top 5 being relatively stale. It's quite easy to fall into a little bit of a DRS train here. So we might see someone go... Is he going to risk it already down
the inside once again? Compassion on IGK Gill. He pushes him wide a bit there. He leaves his front wing intact. And IGK Gill can get on back. Hey, no, he cannot. He'll have to wait for another shot there. Very aggressive move by Compassion.
I didn't see that coming. I was looking back at Koreka and Domi. But yeah, good move from Compassion. He was deep on the brakes, but got it slowed down. I think Gill had to take a little bit of avoiding action, but don't think the stewards will. Well, I don't think we will need to look into that at all. But yeah, all of this battling is really closing this pack up. Marine, though, dropping off a little bit. I think he's just out of DRS range. He just nudges the wall there. Marine seemingly struggling a little bit as he is out of DRS range, and he's coming into the clutches of the other ball, Plusen Ball 3.
Yeah.
As we call him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's his game attack. But
that is his game attack, a little ball joke throughout VRL. But Plusen Ball has raced twice before in VRL. It was once in Japan where he picked up a podium for Toro Rosso, of which he still races for, rebranded as Alpha Tauri. So yeah, Plusen Ball got a podium in Season 4 at Japan for the Toro Rosso team. Finished 6th in Brazil, if you remember, Sam.
I thought he finished P7 in Brazil. I thought
he did, but then Tim was penalised, if you remember.
Yes, I remember now.
But yeah, here comes Plusen Ball. It's the battle of the bowls. Marine out of VRS, so he's expending a lot of VRS, which has cost him a lot of time. And Plusen Ball says thank you very much, and he goes up into P6. The Red Bull struggling so far today, Sam, as I see Phil in the background getting all loose in the background. So Jesper now retiring from the session. Hopefully that doesn't cause any safety cars. But back to the front, Gill still pressurising Compassion. But interestingly, Zach is closer to Gill than Gill is to Compassion. So might we see a little switcheroo here at the Ferrari RGK camp?
Yeah, that could be an option there. As I do believe the Ferrari guys have more pace than Compassion, but he's doing a very good job of keeping them behind, and that could give him a bit of an advantage later into the race when the first pit stops have been made. So yeah, we'll have to see what the tires are going to do on mediums there. What the pace is going to be for all of these drivers. So yeah, that's probably going to be vital in this race. But Compassion right now doing a good job of keeping them behind. Is he going to be able to do it for much longer though, coming on this straight once again? I don't think he's going to go for a move here, but it's going to be certainly one to line up for the next straight.
Yeah, if Gil is able to maintain this gap, unless Compassion has some mega overtake mode to use and Gil's run out, it should be a relatively easy move for Gil. With the nature of this straight, he'll be back in the DRS in the slipstream. He is pulling Zach along with him, so Zach is actually quite close to Gil. Gil not with the strongest exit out the roundabout. Gil
He's not going to go for a move here, I think. Oh, Compassion locks up.
Double lock up. Yeah, all this battling is slowly bringing Plusenball and Marine into that, saying that Plusenball did lose time to the cars ahead last lap, but he's starting to gain back on them now, and with the DRS pulling along the train of Marine, Luke and Phil, but behind that Tim Wenting is in a race all on his own, down in P10, 5 seconds to the cars ahead, and another 2 seconds to the cars behind, so he might have to get risky with the strategy.
Yeah, that obviously could be an option. An undercut might be playing into the hands of the Red Bull drivers and the AlphaTauri driver. They'll just have to bide their time, be patient, and hope they can catch up in the end. And that's
Ice-T's out of the session.
What's happened to him?
Safety car.
Safety car.
Safety car has been deployed.
That's going to be pretty handy for Phil. That's going to be very handy.
It might be a good idea for you to go on board with Darth FIFA to see if you can see what's happened to Ice-T here. I believe has happened due to his car.
Oh, it's
he's gone off on the right.
Yeah. What
there must have been contact. There must have been contact, or he's tried to enter the pits and got it completely wrong, or he could have hit the inside wall and that spat him up. But Phil,
you know, Phil came in and he had some wing damage, so could that be one of the problems he had with Ice-T?
Maybe.
Was he that far behind?
I think Ice-T was further behind Phil because Phil was in the pits before the incident had happened. But this is good news for Phil. He gets basically a free front wing change. He won't gain too much because all the drivers are adhering to a speed limit. So it's quite interesting to see who will opt for a one-stop and who will opt to go to the more natural two-stop onto the medium or the soft tyres. Yeah, and if I'm honest, judging from what I've seen in the last 2 days of racing here in VRL, the hards are a very slow tyre around here, and you actually make up the time on the softer two compounds of the mediums and the softs. So if I was the team engineer, the team principals of any of the drivers in the top 8 who haven't stopped yet, come in and box for softs, or I'd say mediums, and take the softs at the end. We'll have to see.
Without a question, everyone's going to come in.
A gaggle of cars in the pits. Some cars even stopping. Tim pits, Nick Pancras also pits. Jamil.
Could there be some people say, you know, I'm staying out just to lead this race for the fun of it?
Oh, Mickey Tur has got no front wing. Could he have been involved in contact with Ice-T? Could that have been the issue?
That could be a problem, yeah. And what can Phil do? How many positions is Phil gonna gain here from this pit stop? Quite a long.
He could gain a lot here, actually.
Yeah,
let's not forget the drivers cut the inside line of turn 1, so they gained so much time.
Oh, he's jumped his teammate.
Luke.
He's jumped his teammate.
Yeah, but they'll come out in front.
There
they are. Oh wait! Oh, it's so close between the Red Bulls. Yeah, Phil ahead of his teammate. Sorry, I got confused with Marine's dot on the minimap there, and Plusenball, who's got up into P6, benefited massively. Surprisingly, everyone opting for the hard tyre.
A few drivers getting penalties. Did you see that? RGK, Wantig and Luke have received 5-second time penalties for the fact for not slowing down on the yellow flags. So they've made up some time, but they've also lost it automatically again. And we have Nick Pancras also ignoring yellow flag. Just a bit of a glitch going on here.
I don't think so. if there is a glitch, it's nothing we can't remove. 5-second time penalties for Luke.
Oh,
Tim.
Lewis! Out of the race! What happened to
He's
him?
gone straight on.
Has he...
I just got this camera at the roundabout. Yeah, he's made contact with the inside wall. I think he said sayonara. I can't be bothered anymore. It's been a terrible race for Lewis. Disconnected 3 or 4 times. But I'm not necessarily disappointed, but I'm surprised that no one's gone for the ultimate strategy. You know, if you're a Jamil, to be fair, he is up into 11th. However, you know, people like him or Darth Eva have a lot to gain and nothing to lose really by going on to an ultimate strategy. So I'm surprised because you definitely do gain time. But we'll have to see, because everyone on the same strategy now. There's no room for error, and there should be one more lap of safety car Sam before we get back to racing speed.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, that pit stop, that safety car came just before the pit window opened. So perfect timing in that sense for all the drivers. Nothing changing too much except for Tim. He moved up quite a few positions, didn't he?
Yeah, Tim's jumped both the Red Bulls. I'm not sure if it says this on your screen, but he's telling me he's on 8-lap-old hards. I don't think that's correct.
It also tells me so. I don't think that's correct either.
Well, he definitely hasn't been on them hards since the start of the race, because he started on the soft tyre. I believe he pit under the safety car, so please ignore... it says he's on... No, it doesn't. So Tim's on 2-lap-old hard tyres. Please ignore the graphic. This is something that will eventually get sorted out. But talking about things that have been sorted out, Sam, at the back end of last season of F1 and F2, we ended up turning off the safety car. We've had about 2.5 races so far, and I'm actually quite happy to say I think the safety car seems a bit more balanced on this year's game.
Yeah, let's hope so. We were there for the first one here. Obviously, on the beginning of F1 2019 there was a problem. There were barely any safety cars, at least with us. And then we had the problem. There were too many safety cars, and then let's hope it.
Because at the end of the day, it's a factor of pure racing. It happens in the real world, and it benefits some drivers. It ruins the race for some other drivers. But yeah, that's racing. As is, with damage, we can't turn damage off. So. Yeah, I'm a big campaigner for safety car being on, as long as it's balanced. I don't want a safety car every time there's a end plate of debris on the track, because it got to that point in 2019. But it seems a lot better as we're on to lap 9 now. Safety car coming in this lap.
So normally I would say Compassion has lost all his lead, but it really wasn't that big. But
yeah, maybe if anything, I think this might have benefited Compassion, because he wasn't at risk from any of the Ferraris doing an undercut or an overcut, because one Ferrari could stay out and put pressure on Compassion, and the other one could pit and set some blistering lap times. So this is probably a good thing for Compassion, as he's now pacing the grid. Gil gets very close to his rear wing, but someone who's lost out massively is IGK Zach, who had to double stack with his teammate down to 5th behind his IGK teammate of Domi. Compassion has now gone. We'll get green flag racing once he has passed the start-finish straight. Gil's had an incredible restart right behind him.
Yeah, he's got to go for a move into turn 1. Oh, contact bit of wheel banging. Is he pushed off here?
Gonna force him. Yeah, he's forced him off the track. 3-second time penalty. That may be removed. Very argy-bargy between these two. Compassion keeps the position, but here's Koretka. He's so close behind these guys. DRS not enabled as of right now, but Zach's dropped back. What's happened to him? Further forward, Gil now pulling alongside Compassion. He's got into the lead of the race at the safety car restart. He's got that one sorted, and Compassion now has to regroup. He will have another opportunity come this long straight, but where's Koretka going to come into all of this?
Yeah, he could have a shot at Compassion as well, so might have to look at his mirrors as looking forward as well. So yeah, as I said, he will have to defend from Koretka as well.
Compassion closing on Gil. Gil defending the inside line.
Oh! Compassion hitting Gil. Has he got any damage from that? It would be very sportsmanship-like.
Sam, what happened? happened there? Koretka ran into the back of Compassion, who then ran into the back of Gil. So that was not Compassion's fault because he had the car slowed down. It's Koretka now with damage. His race is effectively over. He's going to have to pit this lap, and he's holding up a mighty train of Domi. Plusenball. There goes
Round the
Domi
outside.
round the outside.
Oh, what a move!
What a move! What a move by Domi. Puts himself up into P3. Hopefully, Compassion and Gil don't have damage because it was neither of theirs fault. That contact. It looks like Compassion's front wing is fairly okay, but he may have to give that position back. I'm sure he's racing on, but Plusenball now up into 4th. He's running a really good race, kept his nose clean, and all of a sudden he's got a shot of a podium.
Yeah, and let's have a look at the Red Bulls. They're getting pretty close. Marine had the better pace throughout most of this race until the safety car came along and Phil got ahead. Is there going to be some switcheroo between the two Red Bull drivers there? Marine looking very angsty to get past again. Is there going to be a bit of chatting, or can you let me through? Can you do me a favour and I'll repay you back next race when you're quicker?
Well, we know that these two get on very well. They are working in a party with each other every single race. Teammates now for over a season. They know each other very well. They know who's quick where, and they know what's best for the teams. So I'm sure they have that in mind, and I'm sure they're eyeing up more than an 8th and 9th finish. So they'll go for whatever's best for a unit rather than anyone else. But further back, Jamil's going to the points. Jamil driving a really good stable race in that Renault, up into 10th position. And to be fair, I've been quite impressed with Jamil so far. He's kept a good pace, and he's not dropping off the guys ahead of him. Although he is just out of DRS, he will come under pressure from Darth FIFA soon. But you know, one more retirement ahead, and he's still in the points. So I'm quite impressed with Jamil's drive so far, considering, if I'm honest, I don't think we expected much. Nick Pancras has got damage now. He's into the pits, so more bad news for the Alfa Romeo squad.
Nick had a quite a good qualifying up in P11, having the 3 tyre charge, but it looks like his race has gone downhill since qualifying.
Of course, and Compassion still pulling a gap to Gil, 6/10 of a second. DRS now enabled as Wenting picks up a 3-second time penalty. Pancras in the pits, overtaken by Koretka, but Domi starting to drop off, and if he drops out of that DRS range of his IGK teammate Gil, he will be under a lot of pressure from Plusenbolt just behind him, even more pressure than he's under now, Sam.
Yeah, and something I'm noticing here, they're on basically the same level of energy, but I think Gil's using a bit more than Compassion is, so that's gonna play nicely into the hands of Compassion. I don't think he's gonna go for a move right here. I'll just have to set him up later in the race, but Compassion having a lot of lockups. That's not gonna do any of his tyre. That's not gonna do his tyre situation any good. And the McLaren of Domi.
Sorry to cut you off there, Sam.
No problem.
I think the tyres might start to struggle come the end of the race for these hard tyre runners, because they will be 20 laps old, and that's quite a stint for these drivers. So we'll have to see, and only time will tell. Yeah, but yeah, I don't think the tyres will be in the best state come the end of the stint.
No, I don't think they will. I mean, focusing on the AlphaTauri driver, the only one in the points right now, I believe. Yes, he's the only one on the grid actually today. So, but he's keeping up somewhat well with the rest of the pack. The podium is definitely on, as you said earlier in today's race. Milan Karacha has the fastest lap of the race on the medium compound. So good job from him. Yeah, that just
proves my point how quick the mediums are. They're a really good race tyre. Further back, Darth Vifa's got past Jamil for that final points paying positions. And the Red Bull's now getting really cosy behind Tim, who's struggling so much for traction, and I'm sure Marine, who's now got past his teammate Phil, I'm sure Marine's going to go thank you very much and take P7.
Yeah, he will be looking to go down into around the outside actually. Already got to move down before we even get to the popular overtaking zone. And the move is
Tim
done,
back
but
down the
Tim is not
inside.
giving up. Is it gonna turn into a spin? No, it's not. He's keeping his nose clean thus far. And Marine has got the position though. So a bit of an aggressive re-overtake by Tim there, but it's all played out okay. No one's got damage,
Yeah,
no one's
dirty there
spun
from
round.
Tim, but if anyone's going to get damage in that situation, it's him, not able to slow the car down. I think he just got caught out from Moran ahead of him. There was no malicious intent there from Tim to hit Moran, but Phil's boxing, so Phil's got damage again.
Yeah, I would have thought
Again,
they
Phil's
was
got
looking a
damage.
little bit understeery throughout that section. And yeah, like you said, he's got damage, and his race is going to be a pretty...
Must have either made contact with Tim or the wall. Your front
or
wing.
even his teammate.
Oh yeah, but let's not forget, if there's a safety car, Phil and Koretka are right back in this race.
Yeah.
So, you know, they've got that incentive. And not only that, one thing we haven't mentioned, not only do we have the fastest lap point for the driver inside the top 10, but new for Season 5, a driver who finishes outside of the top 10 with the fastest lap will score 1 extra point. So, you know, there's that added incentive, you know, maybe for Nick, who is a long way off the rest of the guys here due to his incidents. If he just straps on a set of soft sets, a blistering lap at the end, and boom, he's got a point, which can be massive come the end of the season. But back to the front, Gil in the DRS range has a little look down the inside of Compassion, not able to make it work. One thing I have noticed, Gil is struggling with the lockups a little bit, as there goes Duffy for breezing past him, who's really struggling. I think he may have a little bit, very, very minor front wing damage. But yeah, back to Gil. He's seemingly struggling in the low speed corners with the anti-lock brakes, just locking his brakes up quite a lot, which is just delaying his turning ever so slightly, which is costing him a little bit of time here on them hard tyres. It's not something we saw in qualifying, but something that's come up in the race, so that might be a brake bias setting that he can change. But yeah, locking up again, and nevertheless staying a strong pace just behind Compassion, because he gets a bit wavy at that final corner.
He might be pushing himself a bit too much there, as he wants to get past Compassion, as Domi is also getting up his gearbox as well. So he's on a lot of pressure to get by that car. He's failed to do so right now. Obviously, after that crash between, a small contact between those two, created by the harsh driver of Garacha, Compassion was able to get back into the lead, and he hasn't been able to get past again. He'll have to buy this time, as I said. The race is long. It's a very weird circuit, so a lot of mistakes can be made there. I love how these two take different lines for that section there. So on the backside again, can he go for a move this time round? Just like the last few laps. He's already got past him once. Can he do it again? Down the inside here. Very long straight. Can he get the move down? Coming into the next braking zone. No, he cannot. Compassion defends brilliantly. He's making his car wide as possible. But, oh, nearly sent it to a half spin there by IGK Gill. He made his car as wide as possible, but the switchback is for IGK Gill. And it's the fastest way around the circuit, and also the fastest way around Compassion.
What a move from Gil there to get up past Compassion. That's a really good move from Gil. I'm watching Jamil chase down IGK Wenting. I'm just watching that back on the stream sound. What a move from Gil there to go around the outside of Compassion. We don't usually see a move in that part of the racetrack on the inside, let alone around the outside. And Gil back up into the lead of the race. And yeah, he needs to get his foot down and not let Compassion get back past him for a second time today. But Compassion strong through the first sector, which gives him the DRS for the first DRS straight. Then he's close through the roundabout, and then you have that massively long back straight with the DRS. But it looks like Compassion dropping off. Gil definitely the faster driver, and IGK Domi now right on the back of Compassion. But one thing I was going to say, both Renaults are closing up to IGK Wenting, who's definitely struggling with some damage today.
Yeah, it might have,
because his pace has just been nowhere.
it could be worth coming into the pits, to be honest, but
Right. Jamil got very close to him there. I can see Jamil, Brazilian driver, sporting a Ayrton Senna-like helmet. So nice little touch from Jamil there in the Renault in his first race.
Compassion, Compassion once again getting racy there, making some time up on IGK Gill once again, but he can't quite make a move as he was too far back. It's very.
Yeah, Zach's still really close to losing Bob, but not able to make a move yet. So we'll have to see if he's able to do that. As I mentioned earlier, I think these top 5 have sort of fallen into a DRS train as Jamil has got past Tim Wenting. Wenting, though, back on the inside, takes that move and back into 9th position. So nice little battle here between Tim and Jamil.
Yeah, two somewhat VRL veterans. Obviously, Jamil here since Austria Season 2. That's what's that, like round 4 of the championship back in Season 2. Tim is here since the beginning of Season 3, I believe. So, yeah, these two know their way around VRL. They know the people in it. They want this prestigious title. I think Tim might have a bit of a more realistic shot at it than Jamil. But if he keeps this pace up, he's going to get nowhere this season.
Yeah, if they keep this pace up, Tim doesn't have a chance. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Yeah, Jamil, both runners going quite well. They could be on for a double points finish here in the bottom end. And this is exactly what me and Phil said in the team lineup announcement. That if these guys, they're not going to be out and out contenders for points on raw pace, but if they can keep their noses clean and take advantage of other situations and just put together a good race, then there's no reason they can't be scoring some good points. So it's back at the front, Compassion, breezy pass. There goes actually Domi as well down the inside. Is he going to make a double move? Not quite. So close. Compassion leaves in the room, but Gil loses 2 places in 1 straight. Is he going to come back? He might come back. He's not quite close enough to his IGK teammate in the McLaren there. Yeah, Compassion moving past Gil. Domi moving past Compassion. Or moving past Gil, and had a little look past Compassion. That would have been an awesome move if he was able to make it happen, but not quite enough.
The thing about the circuit is there's only, what do you say, 1 or 2 spots on this track where you can actually go for a move?
There's 1 or 2 spots where you can actually go for a proper move, but there's a few other spots where you can make a move if you're close enough. Turn 3 is a good one. That long right hander, if you just stick a nose down the inside after the first DRS zone, or the second DRS zone after the start finish straight, I should say. That's one where you can make a move if you're close enough. But yeah, I'd probably agree to out and out overtaking spots where the drivers will favour it. That would be into turn 1, and I'd say into that long, or after that long straight after the head.
But can he go for a move here?
It's not Gil. He's not close enough yet, and it's not Gil looking the strongest as of right now. It's actually IGK Domi, who has been a little bit of an outcast in this first stint, around that 5th spot. Took advantage of the Ferrari's double stacking, just past Gil. It looks like 1 lap later he might get past Compassion here, Sam.
Yeah, he could do so into that very popular overtaking spot where already a few moves have to be made for the lead. Is it going to be one to add to the list? Yes, it is. He's even going to get the move done before turn 1, and Compassion can't get back for now. Is he going to be able to go for the switch back here? No, he cannot. He will have to bind his time once again and wait for the next lap with DRS and overtake to try another move on him.
Tim and Jamil going side by side again. Tim getting back up into 9th. Big lock up there. He's going to go off the track over that big fat curb, and he's going to get eliminated down to P10. Interesting scrap going on between these two for P9. But yeah, Tim definitely with some understeer, definitely with a little bit of damage to that front wing, because this is not his normal pace. But whilst this is going on, Koretka is starting to recover into the points. He's 1.8 seconds off Mickey Tur and closing rapidly. So, and let's not forget, Jamil is only 3 seconds behind Moran, who's only 3 seconds behind Darth FIFA, and then there's really that train, obviously the 7 seconds between Luke and Zach. But Koretka could be on for some really good points here, and given the circumstances, if he can get 7th or 6th, that's a really strong result for him. As Mickey Tur now gets past IGK Wenting. So yeah, Tim definitely struggling, and it's probably worth him coming in for some softs now, and changing his front wing whilst he's at it, because he does not look happy today.
Yeah, that's true, and I must say, on track wise, well, I mean, he did some time trial laps and he came to the chat. He seemed like a very frustrated guy. He does not enjoy this circuit at all, I think, and it's not a good stance for Alfa Romeo thus far, not having the Starman Felix with them, and Tim, both powered by Ferrari.
On fresh tyres.
Yeah,
so I expect Koretka to breeze through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the point where Tim goes, okay, bye-bye. And
yeah.
hits. Because at least he can get a point.
Yeah, I mean, it's
To be fair to Tim though, tried to run the outside, couldn't make it work, and yeah, there's the traction.
switchback
Or the lack
also
of
not
it.
possible.
Yeah. Karek is now going to breeze past the two Renaults, I imagine, and start making a plow into the top 10. At the front, crucially, for the first time this race, the leader, IGK Domi, has pulled a second to the car behind. That is massive, and that provides Domi with a really good chance to go and take this race win now, because he won't have the pressure with Compassion with the DRS down these two long DRS straights. So,
That's
good news. McLaren driver, but it's not over yet.
Ooh, I think he's actually got the DRS still. He's got the DRS, so it just about wasn't enough.
It was borderline, but it's 1.1 seconds now, so yeah, it's very borderline, and Gill's going to be right on the back of Compassion now. These two have been at it all race, and even throughout qualifying they're at it. We're trading times at the top. But here we go. Is Gill close enough for a move? He's not. He's never been the strongest off that roundabout. Compassion always seems quite strong, but within half a second now, is it going to be enough for the Ferrari driver to take P2?
I don't think so. I think he's a bit too far back here. And no, we can't go for the move here. But crucially, as you said, no DRS for Compassion, so that's probably gonna put him into the hands of the Ferrari driver, as he's got no DRS, and he does plus overtake. He could even get the move done before that popular roundabout place.
Yeah, possibly. But a little bit further back, Plusenbol, just behind them, is just behind. He's just within DRS, or he was on 9/10. He's closed up massively. He's had a good final sector there. But yeah, Plusenbol just holding on to the DRS of the cars ahead. As soon as he drops out of that, I imagine that he'll fall behind IGK Zach, who's looking strong. He's not looking, almighty pace, but I'd imagine that should Plusenbol fall out the DRS, he will come under threat from that Ferrari. And right now, Ferrari provisional to take the lead in the constructor standings for the first time.
Yes, and
so it's all looking good for them.
Only 7 laps to go, obviously. So not a lot of time to make up for your mistakes right now. Compassion gets a 3-second time penalty. Where does that put him later in the race?
I'm going to check penalties now. IGK Dummy has been so clean always, no warnings. Compassion with a penalty. Gill, who has no penalties.
Gill going on for a move around the outside of Compassion. Turns to the inside there, a bit of wheel banging, trying to go over the curb there. Compassion has to look out for his front wing, and Gill has got him past his rival this race, and he's up to P2 right now.
Yeah, good move there from Gill. If either the drivers or the team principals decide to submit that as a Stewards inquiry, from the naked eye, from one look, it just seemed to be relatively similar to the Verstappen-Leclerc incident. I don't think that will require any action. Good move from Gill. A little bit of rubbing, but rubbing is racing, and now we're going to have an IGK 1 and 2 battle for the race winners. Gill 3/10 faster in the final sector. He's right up behind Domi now, but a really poor final sector. I don't know if he's picked up some damage, or he's just had damage! Domi's got damage! Front left end plate is off.
Could he have just thrown away a possible winner with only a few laps to go, 6 laps to go to be exact? Damage for him, and that could, that's definitely going to hinder him. Downforce wise, you have a lot of tricky corners on this track, and you need all the downforce you can get, but the problem for him is he doesn't have it. Oh, look how slow he is coming through that
look at the train behind.
Yeah,
look at the train behind. Zach made a mistake, so that's dropped him back ever so slightly, but this is so close between the top 5 now. If Domi stays out, it might be smart for him to stay out, because I don't see Luke actually overtaking him. But here comes Gill, going to make a move down the inside.
Also looking to make a move. Oh, Gill has to defend and attack at the same time. That's a bit tricky, but he's done it very well not to lose a place. And he will get his shot knowing Domi has damage.
Yeah, I know we're quite engulfed in the battle at the top here, but the battle for 6, in terms of this is the battle for the highest returning driver, full-time driver from Season 4. Darth FIFA closing up to Luke, who struggled so far today, and Koretka is taking a lot of time out of the two drivers ahead, so we'll have to see how that one goes. But Zach making a little bit of contact with Plusenbob. He sent one down the inside of the penultimate corner. Made a little bit of contact. That's disrupted both of their rhythms. No damage though for the two drivers. As there goes Gil again.
Oh my goodness me, that's a bold move for him, but he wasn't able to make it stick. Domi keeps the position for now, but can he go for the inside? No, he thinks about it, as Domi is very slow with that front wing damage. It can be very easy to get ahead of yourself when the car in front is so slow. DRS open right now, coming into the next turn. Turn 3 here, down the inside. No chance for Domi to defend, and he's up into P1. RGK 1-2 still though. What can Compassion do about that?
Well, then again, Domi's still really close to Gil. Not sure, I can't quite see with the McLaren steering wheel being a little bit further back than the other cars. But yeah, Domi powering towards Gil, who has no ERS. So there goes Domi with the front wing damage. It doesn't matter. He's taken the lead of the race again. Gil can have a little look down the inside. Can't quite make that work. And even with the front wing damage, Domi back up into the lead. This will be incredible if he can hold on to this win with front wing damage. If I'm honest, I don't see it happening. There goes Darth FIFA down the inside, past Luke. It's all kicking off here in the final couple of laps. Still slowly closing up to the final points paying positions. Red Bull have had a poor race so far, and they're going to hope that their luck turns around come the next races. But this has been an incredible opening round so far, and it's not over yet. 4 laps to go as the drivers power through the the final sector, I should say. Look how close Gil is to Domi. He's got to make this move now.
Yeah, he's got to, he has done so. And Compassion could attack both of them if they keep battling like this. Doesn't like he's able to do right now, but who knows, next straight coming up. Domi's not giving up, even though he has this front wing damage. He's not giving anything towards him. And DRS open once again.
DRS is very powerful.
Oh no,
IGK Gil is really low on ERS power. He's really struggling. He's got something like, I think he's got 20%, which is more than he had last lap. But with overtake mode engaged, it's already down to 9%, so almost out of ERS now as he goes down this main long straight. And Gil's closing, Domi's closing again on Gil. He's going to get this lead yet again.
Yeah,
going to be closer than last time. Round the outside he's going to have to go. Does he have enough power on the brakes? He does. Into the lead again. This is incredible.
Yeah, it is. It's really incredible stuff thus far in this race. Not a lot of overtaking spots, but fantastic racing thus far.
Yeah, of course, and Jamil is on the back of Marine now. So it's all going off here. Marine's struggling. I don't know if he's picked up some damage. He does. Marine with damage to the front wing end plate. So Jamil should take that position and get up into P9, which will be a great performance for him. But Domi, there goes, Gil's gone down the inside of the penultimate corner, Sam. He's making moves in places that you shouldn't even be able to make moves. Compassion all over the road with traction. Plusenbull is getting involved there as well. This is going to be so close into turn. Number 1, Zach goes down the inside of Plusenbull. I can't keep up.
Compassion.
Domi off the road there over the curb. Plusenbull pressurising Compassion, who's also pressurising Domi, and it looks like Gil finally might have been able to make a break from his IGK teammate behind, who did him no favours whatsoever.
No, definitely not. Perhaps we could even speak of an IGK war going on right now, but obviously
there goes Zach down the inside of Plusenbull. They make a bit of contact. He just keeps the car pointing in the right direction. Oversteers central here as we go down the roundabout, but Plusenbull somehow holds on to P5. Sorry to cut you off there, Sam. It's all going off here in the last couple of laps.
Yeah, it is, and RGK Gil has definitely made a bit of a gap towards his RGK teammate again, but is it going to be enough?
That's what he needs, that's good.
Is it going to be enough? Is he going to go risk a dive bomb knowing that he won't get another shot at it? No, he doesn't go for the dive bomb, and I think that might have been his last shot to get a P1 in this race. He's kept up the fight pretty long, I must say, and I did not expect it from him there.
Yeah, but Darth FIFA now just 6.8 behind Zach. He was 10 seconds behind Zach a couple of laps ago. It'll be quite an incredible final stint if he can close up, but with all this battling, it's not out the question.
And Jamil and Moraine are still going at it for the last points being positions. Moraine down the inside of Jamil once again as Jamil went for a move. Jamil doesn't have the move done just yet. He'll have to buy this time.
Compassion dropping back from Domi, as Domi makes a mistake into turn 1, so he's clearly struggling now, Sam.
Yeah, he is. Compassion having a fantastic race thus far, even leading at some points in the race, but if he wants to win this race, he'll have to get past Domi pretty quickly. And even though Domi didn't do his RGK team in any favours the last couple of laps, he could do him a favour right now by keeping Compassion behind and making it a lot easier for him to win this race.
Let's not forget, Compassion does have a few penalties. I believe he's got 1 or 2 penalties, I can't quite tell. It says an invalidated lap time, so I'm going to assume Compassion has 1 penalty, but Pollution Ball and Zach behind both have no penalties, so right now, as much of a good drive it's been from Compassion, he will drop out of the podium positions, which is a shame. But it is what it is, unfortunately. And but yeah, Pollution Ball's still keeping the pressure on. I'm really impressed Pollution Ball's managed to keep IGK Zach behind, because Zach's been all over him since the safety car restart, and he's held his nerve and kept P4, which at this rate will turn into P3. Jamil now powering past Moraine for P9, so good point so far. Great P9 for Jamil. Moraine dropping back. Phil's got 4 seconds to close in the last 3 laps. It's been a poor race for Red Bull. This is not the return to Red Bull Phil wanted, or Moraine.
No,
And,
but I must say, most of the old guys are very much struggling. I mean, the highest returning driver is Darfifa, as you mentioned earlier. He's in P6, so is there a new age coming to VRL where the first race is already gonna be a turning point in VRL?
Maybe Phil Pitt's going for that fastest lap. He's going to leave Moraine to get that 1 point. That's probably best for the team, actually, if you think about it. Moraine picking up 1 point through the point system if Phil can put together a good lap on the final lap.
Meanwhile, Zach, look at Zach quickly as possible. Compassion or Pleasurable really not having the pace towards him, but he's doing a very good job of keeping him behind, and he's still in that provisional P3 position.
I'm just still really surprised that Domi is ahead of Compassion. I think Compassion is nursing a tiny bit of damage, and I'm talking ever so minor, to the front left of his wing. It looks a little bit broken, a little bit scrapped. So yeah, that is going on there. So if Domi holds on to P2 to make an IGK 1-2, I'll be very impressed. And Zach's still pressurising Pollution Ball, so he gets a little bit sideways. As now, Sam, it's absolutely flown by, but we're about to start the final lap of the first race of VRL Season 5 as Jamil has been overtaken by Moraine. Has Jamil got damage now? He does! He's got damage to the front left, so both these drivers nursing damage. And it's all going off it. Everyone's getting damage, correct, Pitts, which is an interesting decision. I'm not entirely sure why he will drop out the points. It's going to put Moraine up to 8th, Jamil up to 9th. That may promote Mickey T up into 11th. We'll have to see.
And he's got Mickey T.
Mickey T. Sorry.
Oh, Zach on the outside of Pleasurable, massive contact. He's barging his way through. He's up into the P4 position. Will turn into P3 as soon as the penalties have been given. But wow, what an aggressive move by him, and that will surely be a move the students will have to look into. Very, very aggressive, and not a place you normally make a move.
Oh, that's borderline. I've just seen it back on the stream, Sam. We'll have to look into it, see the onboards, but if I'm honest, I think it's borderline, but I think we probably will just allow it with how close and tight the racing's been throughout this race, but that's something that I will discuss with my fellow stewards later on. But back to the front, it didn't look like he was going to win it at one point. Wow. It didn't look like he was going to win it at one point. He's drove a really good, I wouldn't say recovery race, but he's done a good job to put it where he has. He's going to come through the penultimate corner now. This is the first for Ferrari in VRL, back on the power. One more corner left to negotiate, and IGK Gill on his debut in VRL crosses the line, wins
What a race.
the Vietnam GP. A 1-2-3 for IGK. Ferrari claimed their first win in VRL, followed by Domi, who drove a really good drive with that damage to finish second. IGK Zach as well. That's how he started, I believe. Lost positions due to the fact that he had to double stack with his teammate. Makes up for it in penalties, and Plugenbob just misses out on the podium. Shame for him, but P4's not bad. And Compassion ruined his race with penalties. But Darth FIFA, as you mentioned, Sam, highest returning driver up in 6th, was
10th
only
behind
10th
Compassion.
of a second. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty close.
So-
And then we have Luke in P7 and Marine in P8. Disappointing result for the both of them. I think most people are very much shocked that they've really put in a good drive, but they were just slower than the rest.
Yeah, in other news, fast lap does go to Phil. He got the outright fast lap. He will get that point for the fast lap outside of the top 10. In terms of inside the top 10, the fastest lap was...
I think
it was a 1:37.5 from Koretka.
Yeah, on those medium tyres. Wow, that's
So
a
he will
pretty
claim
impressive
that fastest
race.
lap.
Yeah, it was a very...
Yeah, what a race, what a return
Yeah,
for VRL.
yeah, and we'll have to wait what the next few rounds bring. Obviously, coming into the next new calendar, next new race on this calendar, Zandvoort. But who knows? Could this be a turnaround point in the VRL history where some of the old guys are gonna be replaced by some of the new ones, as Jamil gets driver of the day elected by the game. Obviously, there will be a driver of the day post decided by the drivers, as we have a Ferrari driver winning for the second time, as Matt, so to speak, 7070 once won a race for Ferrari in the preseason test.
Oh,
Gotcha.
damn it. Point to the test races then.
First 25 points for Ferrari, let's just keep it at that. And
Yes, but
what a
Sam,
race.
run us through the results.
Yeah, RGK Gill winning the race from his RGK teammate, and then from also once again from his RGK teammate, it's Zach. With Pleasurable just missing out on the podium with that last lap battle. Compassion in P5 with penalties. Dalfifa P6 just missing out on P5. Luke in P7. Marine in P8 and Karacha in P9. Good recovery drive from him after picking up some damage. Jamil on his return to Vrl F1 as a main driver. P10. Mikic P11. Phil P12. Disappointing result for him. And then Tim very, very much off the pace. Arpel Gamer not finishing, Nick not finishing, Lewis not finishing, Isley not finishing, and Jasper not finishing. So could you send the podium RGK guys an invite for the post-race interviews?
I can indeed, Mr. Sam.
Yeah, if you just do that,
What a race.
Yeah, exactly, and obviously it's a bit unreliable in the sense where we still don't know how the pace is of most drivers. A lot of drivers struggling with this circuit, but who knows? A new age might be coming towards VRL.
Yeah, I think once we get to the likes, you know, the normal tracks, which, you know, most of all the drivers have been driving for years now. You know, yeah, your Silverstones, that kind of stuff.
Baku.
We'll start to see Baku, yeah, of course. We'll start to see a lot more of the relative pace of the guys. Especially, we've got more drivers who didn't race today. Felix, VRT Sam, last season champion. So there's a lot more pace to be found, and drivers got damaged today, and that ruined their race. So I'm sure we haven't seen the proper pace of some of the guys yet, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, that is very much true. Yeah, it's well, as we wait for the podium interviews. Is it working alright, or
Well, they've had an invite.
Alright,
Maybe
we'll
they
just...
don't like us.
I mean, speak for
We'll give it a
yourself.
minute or so.
Yeah, otherwise we'll have to get
We'll
into
give it a
skip.
minute or so. If not, we'll go. Um,
It's my
we'll
controller
have to assume
fault.
that they're not joining.
No, they're new to the VRL scene, obviously. So we'll just have to inform them if they don't join later. And obviously Marine finishing for the second time in his VRL career, he finished P9. So good result by him.
Yeah, of course, great result from him.
I think they're not joining, to be honest.
Yeah, I think maybe we smell or something, or
I
maybe
don't
they're too cool for us.
I don't think they've got a clue what's going on. They're obviously new to the league, so we'll have a chat about them later. So no driver interviews this time. So hopefully we'll be able to get them next race in Zandvoort, which is next week? Question mark.
Yes, I will check that on our little Google document. But yeah, Zandvoort next week. But because we obviously have the Silverstone race at 2:10 UK time, we have had to move the time of the Zandvoort, the Netherlands GP, and that race will be starting, or the stream will be starting at 12:30 p.m. UK time. So that's 2 hours earlier. To facilitate for everyone being able to go and watch the F1 race, as we always have done in VRL with the whole COVID situation. It's been a lot more awkward for us to bend a calendar around the Vrl F season and the schedule of the game, because we obviously have plans of what we want to do after Season 5 into Season 6 and Season 7. So we've had to facilitate for that, and we've had to facilitate with the real life world. So it's been a struggle, but moving the times was probably the best thing we could do. So yeah, as I mentioned, don't go anywhere. Next week we are at Zandvoort 2 hours earlier on Sunday. That's 12:30 p.m. UK time.
You said it. You said it. And as I'm the last remaining in the
That is
lobby,
it.
I wanna thank everyone for watching. Sorry for the quality. I'll be sure to sort that out next time. Thank you for watching, and I hope you join us next week in Zandvoort. Goodbye.